There are no known survivors after a plane carrying over 240 crashes in India, what we're learning from officials. And a third lawsuit challenges Arkansas's new prescription drug law, changing how you buy meds. We'll break down what it means and how it could affect your wallet.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News at Noon.
Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with Joshua Weisel, and lots of rain looking ahead. It seems like almost every day we've got some chance of rain.
Oh yes, the relentless, never-ending rain of spring of 2025.
Yes.
It just continues today. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, we've got some rain chances on the horizon still. So let's take a look outside right now. Speaking of rain, just to show you what rain I'm talking about. And there is a big area of just light to moderate rainfall. Really no lightning or anything like that. Finally making its way into the river valley. And for those of us in the river valley who have been watching throughout the morning, it started off dry, but unfortunately it kind of flipped. Northwest Arkansas is dry. River Valley's got all the rain right now. That'll change though over the next little bit as this is making its way into northwest Arkansas. Like I mentioned, River Valley right now has the more widespread rain. It's really just light to moderate rainfall at times, nothing heavy, and also, fortunately, not expecting anything severe. Those current temperatures outside, it is pretty pleasant out there, but notice, because it's a little bit more clear in northwest Arkansas, we're warmer. All that cloud coverage in the River Valley with the rain is leading to some cooler temperatures. So we're going to be expecting the rain pretty much throughout the day. We're talking rain and storm chances off and on throughout the day, not a complete washout, but you're going to want the raincoat, the umbrella, if you got any sort of plans today, just because it's going to be hit or miss, spotty, whatever you want to call it throughout the day today. So be mindful of the radar. We'll be keeping an eye on the activity, letting you know the widespread rain potential. And again, it's hit or miss, so not everyone's going to see necessarily a full washout today, but we'll let you know the full details here in just minutes.
Thanks, Joshua. Well, an airliner headed to the UK crashed in India with more than 240 people on board. Today, authorities say there are no known survivors. The plane was carrying people from India, Portugal, Canada, and Britain. They were headed to London's Gatwick Airport. India's civil aviation says pilots issued a mayday right after takeoff and lost signal less than a minute into the flight. The tail of the 787 Dreamliner is resting on top of what CBS News has verified is a hospital. Reuters news agency says at least 30 bodies have been recovered from a building where the plane crashed, and many more people are trapped inside. The National Transportation Safety Board is headed to India to lead a team of U.S. investigators helping pinpoint what caused the crash. A curfew helped calm things down overnight in Los Angeles, where protests against the Trump administration's immigration crackdown are ongoing. Demonstrations are also expanding to other cities. Carter Evans reports from downtown L.A.
In downtown Los Angeles, dozens of protesters were arrested and loaded onto police buses for failing to disperse. But it was a more chaotic scene in other parts of the country, including 900 miles north here in Spokane, Washington, where police broke up crowds by firing pepper balls.
I want a lawyer!
In Tucson, Arizona, several people were detained after protests led to smashed windows outside an ICE office. But earlier on Wednesday in Los Angeles, where protests have now entered a 7th day, surveillance video appeared to show federal agents boxing in a car. Witnesses say they fired tear gas before detaining the driver.
As soon as I got here, the gal that was in the car was out here with her 2 babies. Literally one like in a crib and the other one maybe a year and a half years old. They grabbed the driver, which was her partner, threw him into the truck and took off.
The Department of Homeland Security says the man was a violent rioter who punched an officer.
I said a valet!
Fueling the protests are images like these of agents raiding workplaces, chasing a man through a California coastal farm, and detaining more than 70 people at this meatpacking plant in Omaha, Nebraska.
You're always looking around to see if ICE agents.
Exactly.
Outside a Home Depot, day laborer Ricardo told us he came to the U.S. from Mexico 30 years ago.
It's very dangerous for us. I don't have option working in another place.
When you raid Home Depots and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, you're trying to cause fear and panic.
2 DHS officials have confirmed to CBS News that 330 undocumented migrants have been arrested here in the LA area since operations began on Friday. Meanwhile, the presence of the National Guard isn't just being felt here in Los Angeles, also in other parts of the country. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The No King mass protest is part of those protests. Organizers say they have 2,000 locations with millions of participants who believe that the current administration is overstepping its authority. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president does not view himself as a king and is trying to restore pride in the U.S.
The president views himself as the president of the United States of America. This is a constitutional republic, and we want to see all of our citizens be proud of the country in which they are given the privilege and the blessing to live.
Despite the use of military, which protest organizers are calling a, quote, intimidation tactic, they say they will not back down from their protests. In other national news, President Trump says a U.S. trade deal with China is done. He offered a few key details of a framework deal reached between senior U.S. and Chinese trade representatives in London. But the president acknowledged that he and the Chinese president were both yet to formally sign off on the agreement. Trump says the deal would see China maintain its current 10% tariffs on goods imported from the U.S., while the U.S. would keep 55% tariffs on Chinese imports. The president also says China agreed to release vital materials known as rare earth minerals. In return, the U.S. will lift restrictions on Chinese students coming to study in American schools. Well, today marks 9 years since a shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. 49 people died, 53 others were injured back in 2016. Now the site of the attack is set to be demolished. Prior to being torn down, the city has said 25 of the 49 families have requested to have a final walkthrough of the building. The city's planning a permanent memorial where the building now stands, approving a plan to buy the property back in 2023. The shooting was the second deadliest in the United States, behind the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. Well, urgent questions are swirling after a convicted murderer escaped from an Arkansas prison. State officials say a full review is underway and human error may be to blame. Wearing a fake law enforcement uniform, Grant Harden slipped out the back gate of the North Central unit near Calico Rock. The former Gateway police chief was serving 80 years for rape and murder. After nearly 2 weeks on the run, he's now locked up at Varner Supermax. Corrections officials call the escape a failure of protocol and human judgment.
Sometimes you can have all the policies in the world, and if people don't follow them, something like this happens.
The thing he should have done was if somebody came to that gate, he should have made sure who it was. Normally, when we open the Sallyport gate on the weekends, another officer has to come out and verify who that is on the ground that they're letting out of the gate. So he just kind of didn't verify. He didn't do his job.
The board confirms a critical incident review is already underway. Officials say they're gathering all internal reports. And tensions are high at a Fayetteville day center after a late night attack rattled the community. Seven Hills staff say safety steps are already in motion with more help on the way. The attack on May 25th happened after hours when no staff were present and the property was closed. Seven Hills works closely with Fayetteville police, who are increasing overnight patrols. But signs there are posted clearly. No one is allowed on site from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. on weekdays and not at all on weekends. Staff say their goal now is to protect their guests during the day and help them process what happened.
We deal with guests that are suffering from mental illness, addiction, and also crisis. So we do have surveillance. Our staff helps with people that may have something going on each day.
The center says they provide daytime services only, like meals, showers, and mental health resources. Guests needing overnight shelter are referred to Salvation Army, Seven Hills Overnight Shelter, or local partners. At the Capitol, 7 Arkansas families have filed a lawsuit on Wednesday challenging the upcoming 10 Commandments law. They say it violates their constitutional rights. The law states that the 10 Commandments must be prominently displayed in every public school classroom and library. These people claim it violates the First Amendment by pressuring students into religious observance of adoption of the state's favored religious scripture. The lawsuit names Fayetteville, Bentonville, Siloam Springs, and Bentonville as defendants. And in continuing coverage, a bill Governor Sanders just signed into law could mean CVS pharmacies will have to close their doors in 2026. So CVS Health has filed a lawsuit claiming the law is unconstitutional. This is the third lawsuit filed against the state over this issue. Pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, help decide how much prescriptions cost. Act 624 stops them from also selling you that medicine. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says her goal is to lower copay costs for patients. But CVS claims its work as a PBM prevents Big Pharma from setting outrageous prices. The company tells 5 News its drugs are affordable for Arkansas residents because they are the lowest cost provider in the state.
It's going to disrupt 340,000 patients that we service. It's actually going to cost several $1 million, we believe over $7 million, more in drug costs. Our specialty pharmacy won't be able to serve 10,000 of probably the most at-risk patients in the state.
If this law is allowed to go into effect next year, 23 CVS pharmacies could be forced to close.